everyone, and welcome to the live streamed recording of the Engadget Podcast. I am Deputy Editor Sherlyn Lowe, and joining me as guest co-host this week is a very special guest, UK Bureau Chief Matt Smith. Hey, Matt, how's it going?
Let's just start all over again from the start again.
No, we're not. This is not live yet. You're not recording yet, so yes.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, it's me. It's Matt. I'm back again.
Yes, welcome back to this show. We're always glad to have you. In between me and Matt sits podcast producer Ben Ullman. Hey, Ben.
With a beam of sun across my face.
This is a behind the scenes look at the recording of the Engadget podcast. We will be able to interact with you live like we are going to in a little bit. And also, we will be doing segment breaks throughout the show where we can take your questions live and answer them on air. But for the most part, we'll be talking amongst ourselves for the podcast, the audio version of this show that goes out on platforms like Spotify, SoundCloud, Pocket Cast, what have you. So we won't be able to talk to you directly then, but leave your questions in the chat as Ben is looking and will be banking questions for us to get to when we do have time or are able to. The other thing is you'll also probably see us make a lot of mistakes like I just did. Bureau Chief. I say
Bureau
that's
chef.
the better way to pronounce it anyway. And yeah, so, this is just a behind the scenes look. Should be fun, casual, and all of that. Shout out to everyone that's already here. We've got very familiar names like CJ by Steps. We've got Daniel Diaz. We've got Chooch, Jay Kenward. I know Mark Dell, one of our big time regulars, is here. Buddy 305 Love, hello. Christoph Howard, a newly familiar name. Philadelphia, I see what you did there. Razan Anaf, Alice, and Gabriel Oldman Puzzles, and more. Hello. And also someone named Matt Smith.
Whoever that is. I asked people where they were coming from or where they were watching from. We've got Spain, we've got Ottawa, Canada, the capital of Canada. It's not Toronto, it's not Vancouver. Capital is actually Ottawa. Philadelphia, weirdly, is in Northeast UK. Puerto Rico, this is cool. I love knowing where everyone is watching from.
Matt, you were saying something before that.
No, don't think so.
Okay, just making sure. It sounded like you were very excited.
I'm always very
noticed
excited
in the
to be
chat.
on the podcast. Yeah, always
To be
thrilled.
noticed. We Nomad Adventure, Preston Sellers, as like everyone, thank you for joining. If you're a regular, like I said, you know the deal, and we're very happy to see you back. So this week we're talking all about Apple. Right, Matt? Yeah. You ready to go? We're talking about Apple, we're talking about IFA, we're talking about some other news, we're talking about Gamescom. We've got Jess Conda going to join us a little bit here today. So I see good day from Australia, Maine, Chicago, Utah, Tucson, Arizona. Damn, Mark with an A for some reason. Mark Dell says, question for the pod: why does everyone's foldable review have a Telegram conversation with Sherlyn in it? This is true. I have been appearing in literally every other outlets review video by virtue of talking to them on Telegram, which is quite funny. I think, Mark, you've only just been watching a few. There are some people I have not spoken to who don't have me in their review videos. I am not that social. But I think we are otherwise ready to start. Ben, we have some technical stuff to get through.
Yeah, so again, if you're a regular viewer, you know what's coming up. We're going to do a sync. So I'm going to count down from 3. At the end of 3, we're all going to make a sound. Me, Sherlyn, Matt. This helps me sync up the files when I'm editing. It's like a clapperboard in TV and movies. Then we're going to be quiet for a little while, but not too long. So I'm going to count down from 3. We're all going to make a sound. You can make a sound in the chat too. That's fun. I love seeing all the clap emojis in the chat. So counting down from 3, 2, 1, and some silence. I'll let you know when it's over. Okay, silence is over.
All right. So sorry. I was like, wait, silence is over. Does that mean I can talk? Anyway. Okay, so I think we're ready to start the show. Ben, are you good?
Yes, I'm good. I got my notepad all figured out. Let's go.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Engadget Podcast. I'm Deputy Editor Sherlyn Lowe, and joining me as guest co-host this episode is UK Bureau Chief Matt Smith. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Shalyn, how you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for joining us all the way
Thanks for
from
having
across
me.
the pond.
Yeah, I've got lots to talk about this week. How dare
Indeed,
Devinder
this
take
week
time off?
I know, right? This week we're talking all about the Apple event that the company announced is happening on September 7th. So that's very soon. We're going to talk about what to expect there. And we're also going to see what's up with this electronics show that typically happens in Berlin this time of year. It hasn't happened in the last year, I believe. So some discussion around there. And then I guess this Gamescom thing has been happening. So we're going to have our senior editor Jess Condit join us in this show as well to talk a little bit about that and a whole bunch of other news. It's going to be a packed episode, everyone. As always, if you're enjoying the show, please subscribe on your podcast catcher of choice. Leave us a review on iTunes. And if you have time on Thursday mornings at about 10 a.m. Eastern, we typically live stream the recording of this podcast on the Engadget YouTube channel. We can interact live with the audience, take questions, make friends. It's usually a fun time, so come join us then. Or I was like very tempted to like stop and take some lines again, but then I was like, let's power through. All right. We're going to dive right into Apple. Cool. I see Ben thumbing up. Sure. Okay. So this week, in fact, I think it was just yesterday, it was just Wednesday this week, Apple officially confirmed that its next event will be happening on September 7th. This is the invite, image, which usually contains some clues, had this picture of like an Apple logo sort of made out of water droplets, and it has the words "far out" on it. Matt, what do you think that means?
I'm just going to go for like the basic option of what that means. I think it's like two things. I think it will be improved like zoom photography.
Okay, yeah.
We've had some rumors which we'll get to later. And the other one, I'm imagining just like longevity, like battery life improvement.
Right, like it lasts far out.
Yeah, it goes further. And I think it is teeing that we've already heard that there's going to be a kind of tougher Pro Apple Watch. So the idea that you can go further out there in the outdoors.
Man, that reminds me of like Samsung's Pro model of its Galaxy Watch 5, right? Which I've been reviewing, and it's supposed to be for the great outdoors. And I'm just like, all right, like it's not really, yeah.
It doesn't really look it.
It's not. So we can get into that a little bit later. My speculation is really similar to yours with the far out thing where you said the telephoto zoom. I think that's most likely. But if that's the thing they're highlighting, I don't know what I expect. Our live stream producer Julio Barrientos mentions that far out means it's going to cost a lot of money for people to be able to afford it.
Does, though,
which look. This is an Apple event, Apple device. You know what you're getting into.
But also, let's remember, like a few weeks ago, we just had a new phone from Samsung that's closer to $2,000. So
yeah, but that's kind of like a 2-in-1. That's like a tablet phone.
It doesn't matter. It's a brand new phone. It's all comparable. So I don't know. Getting fussy about Apple prices is a bit funny now that Samsung's the party ruiner.
I think they are they have like some sort of parity when it comes to pricing around their like mid-rangey flagship phones. So like the S22 Plus compares to the iPhone 13-ish. I mean, Apple has brought some prices down by introducing things like the iPhone 13 mini. Well, not the 13 mini specifically, but the mini, right? Like the fact that they now start at more like $699, $799. And the Samsungs also start around there for the Galaxy S22-ish. They're similar. You're right. I will defend the pricing of the folding, like the Z Fold 4, if only because of it. I think of it as more than just one phone. You know what I mean? Compared to anything Apple's made, anyway.
Oh yeah, there is nothing to compare to. I'm just like, I feel like a price complaint at this point.
Absolutely.
You've got to level it first at Samsung before you chase Apple.
Oh yeah, Apple's not the only one making expensive devices. That is for sure. Speaking of iPhone 14. I think we were all expecting that to be unveiled next week. Matt, what do you think? Or are you excited? You're an iPhone user, I know this.
Yeah,
Are you excited?
I'm mainly iPhone, Pixel. Those are the two I kind of hop between. And yeah, like I think we're due like a design update. Like off the top of my head, I'm thinking it's not going to be ground shaking. I'm sure it'll be 2 cameras on the cheaper phone, 3 cameras on the Pro. Some of the rumors suggest the Pro phones will be a redesign, even hinting that we might have a Samsung-esque kind of hole punch front-facing camera, which could be interesting.
Yes, right. Yeah.
In a way, it wouldn't look like an iPhone, or at least iPhones as we know it, in the 2020s. Yeah. So that's interesting. But yeah, like I still hope there will be another mini iPhone mini. I think that is such a compelling device.
Yeah.
I'd say that. I think we've talked about this before, probably on this podcast, that of the iPhone 13s, the mini iPhone is probably the coolest. So that will probably come again. And it's hard to know whether they'll shake it all up or not. Like a lot of these rumors just turn out to be only that, rumors. I would like a redesign, especially something to kind of differentiate the look of a Pro phone compared to, the kind of entry-level iPhone. So we'll see if we get that.
I like you, I like the mini, but I think there's some speculation about the entire mini phone going away, the smallest handset going away. And I kind of get it, because like as much as I like the size and them trying to squeeze like the best specs into a phone of that size, battery life was always an issue. And I don't know that like that's something that's so easy to address. And if they just do away with it altogether, Apple will better have an explanation. They probably won't. They won't outright explain it in their keynote. But I'd be curious to see. And then speaking of some of the changes coming to the 14 Pro, the rumors are, like you said, right? Instead of the notch, we're expecting some kind of dual cutout for the front cameras. And, the reason I speculated anyway, that like the notch had always been there is because, the Face ID, sort of the components that go in there are a little too big or unwieldy to be like fully covered up by everything but a cutout or a hole punch thing. So it looks like maybe they might have figured a way out. So we don't know. But does the notch bother you?
Wow, no, that's what I'm saying. Like it just feels. I think that's just because of familiarity, right? To me, the notch feels like an iPhone. When you're looking through all these other Android phones, nearly all of them have a hole punch of some kind, whether it's centralized or in the corner, and that's like an Android look. And I felt like the iPhone look was a notch. Not to say I'm not ready. Oh, do you remember like when the iPhone 13 came out and they were like, look how much smaller the notch is, and it was barely noticeable. Any difference whatsoever.
Yep. I remember that.
We'll see how big these hole punches are as well. Can you imagine if they're just utterly huge?
I mean, it looks from the renders and the rumors that they are kind of odd looking. They're definitely still in the way, and they're not as big as notches, but it's so prominent. I mean, I'm at the point where it's on Android, right? Phones are at the point where we've got under display cameras, and under display cameras may have sucked at first, but because by virtue of trying something new, they're getting better. You've got ZTE with some under display cameras. I think you tried it out, right, Matt?
And you've seen the Z Fold 4 as well. That had a better one, something a bit closer to the ZTE one. I mean, it still doesn't take amazing photos, to be honest, but that's the future we're aiming towards. Like you're saying, that's what we're marching towards, an under-screen camera that is functional as a selfie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, speaking of the camera, I think like we were talking about before, there might be the Pro models, like you said, will likely keep the trio, and then like we've got the regular standard non-Pro models only having 2. I don't know. I personally would like more like a third camera on the standard models. Maybe that's just me, but even if only the Pros continue to keep the triple camera setup, what are we hearing, right? We're hearing a 48 megapixel main camera might be coming to the Pro. That's a huge jump from 12 megapixels that is standard across the lineup right now. Do you think that's likely? I
mean, I would love that to be true. Like, it's so incredible to think that the iPhone goes toe to toe with these normally, 48, 50 megapixel sensors on pretty much every other device, right? So can you imagine what an iPhone could capture if at least one of those sensors was that level of high resolution?
I am not sure, honestly, because I feel like the iPhone already takes pretty sharp pictures at this point, right? That 13 Pro is actually a very solid camera.
Yeah.
And I wonder if, they're doing any pixel binning with it, right? 48 is exactly, pixel binning size, I guess, or resolution for like 4 pixels into 1. And then what you would achieve from that in low light or any sort of
That's what
light
I'm meaning.
situation.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to suggest that it would take 48 megapixel stills, which it probably will. But yeah, exactly that. But up until this point, they haven't done that. So I find that amazing that iPhones have taken such decent photos these last couple of years without having to amp up the megapixels.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that also seems like a genuine pro phone feature. If you're going to have, an iPhone 14 and an iPhone 14 Pro, then that is the kind of feature that kind of makes it distinct, which I think was tricky with the 12 and the 13. The differentiation between the Pro and the basic models wasn't as clear cut as Apple pretended it was.
I am going to pause right here for a second. My laptop is being very, very weird. It's telling me to restart, and it's and it disconnected my headphones, and it's doing all kinds of weird shit. So.
Is it a MacBook? Is it hearing what you're saying?
No, it's a Samsung laptop, which
even worse.
Let me try to connect my headphones again and see if I can continue without restarting. Nope, I can't. So I'm going to put in wired headphones. Give me a moment.
Okay. Well, I was figuring that Matt and I could, I don't know, talk about. I have no
Matt
idea.
and you could talk about something. What?
Yeah.
Talk about I can move on to HomePods if not.
Who, me? If we did, I mean, if I restart it, I don't even know what the system will be like when I restart. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can still hear you.
I'm just gonna plug in headphones. Give me a sec. It's right here. But did we have any good questions while we were talking about that from the chat?
Let me take a look.
Samsung is sabotaging me. Yeah, that's definitely what's happening.
So we were talking about the possibility of a Mac Pro, like an M series Mac Pro, because
Mac Pro. I thought we were talking about iPhones. Okay.
Well, I mean, the chat was talking about the M and the possibility of an M series Mac Pro, and CJ by Steps said maybe in October, like the traditional October presentation for Macs. Possibly. I think that they're going to really want to blow everything else out of the water. So I'm not sure. Could be this year, could be an M3 Mac Pro. But when it does come out, it's going to be really impressive.
All right, let's continue.
Okay. Continuing.
Matt, remind me, what was the last thing you said?
I think I can't remember either. I think we talked a lot about the cameras.
Yeah, we were talking about
differentiating Pro from original, but we can segue into the wearables.
Sure.
So that's the rumor. Like we've seen it with the iPhones for a while now. You've had the Pro and the iPhone models, and now it looks like that Apple's going to be taking that strategy, at least according to the rumors, to its Apple Watch series.
Okay. Yeah. I have another rumor that I'm going to just pick up and then see where we go from there. How's that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not just the rear cameras too, right? I think one of the more credible reports going around is that the selfie camera is going to get an upgrade. We've got like the aperture supposedly going from f2.2 to f1.9, which, I mean, I feel like a lot of selfie cameras out there, or at least a lot of main cameras out there, they're like f2, f1.8 sometimes already. So this would be, a good time for Apple to catch up, do better. Although, again, like I said before, the iPhone 13s already do a pretty good job with the front camera. So
yeah,
it's not a lot of like big wish list items. It seems like continual tweaks and improvements on an incremental level.
I think though, like the last couple of years with the coronavirus and stuff like that, like we've been using front-facing cameras on everything more than we ever have before, whether it's teleconferencing, talking to family, so again, it makes sense for a lot of it makes sense for a lot of these companies just to make that kind of stuff work better, look better.
True.
I mean, they might be a bit late to the party, but working from home isn't going anywhere. So yeah, it seems like a wise upgrade, and doesn't mean they have to, hugely upgrade the sensor. They're just improving the lens on the front. But again, if they're using a more elaborate lens and they're using these smaller
notches, cutouts,
hole punches, like how's that all going to work together? So again, something else to kind of think about and see if Apple can pull it off.
Some other small rumors that we're hearing, and this isn't really a rumor, this is more like an educated guess, is that like the iPhone 14s are going to use the A16 chipset. Like, of course, the A16 is going to be the next processor. But that's really about most of the stuff that we know on the iPhone front. But of course, that's not the only device we're expecting to see. Why would Apple just throw an event for only the iPhones? We're also expecting most likely the Apple Watch Series, what is it, like 8 now? Yes, Series 8. I am it gets confusing because watchOS is approaching watchOS 9. It's like in beta right now, and then the watch itself is on Series 7. So the numbers don't tally. Thanks a lot, Apple.
And remember, we never had an iPhone 9.
We never, we jumped across because I guess 7, 8, 9. But did you get it, Matt? Did you? No.
Oh, I forgot you do stand up. Yes.
I do stand up. Yes. You do stand up. I do stand up. Everyone does stand up, but you know what doesn't stand up? The Apple Watch. This is my segue back into our watch topic.
So whatever virus got the Samsung laptop has caught Sheldon as well.
Yes, this is wiping my brain. The Apple Watch Series 8. I think one of the biggest rumors about it is that we're expecting the Pro model to come out, right? This is going to be, and this is what we talked about a little bit earlier when I was asking you to speculate on what far out meant. We were thinking it might be like an outdoors oriented watch with better durability, at least on the screen. Some other features that I'm not very sure of. What have you heard about the Series 8, Matt?
So let's start with the Pro, shall we, and what we've heard about that. So it's funny, like, the Pro will obviously introduce some kind of new design, whatever that will look like. I'm sure it will still be squarish, still be very Apple-y, but I wonder if it will be a bit more like tougher looking. And I don't know how, I literally do not know.
Bulkier, right?
I don't know what I mean by those words, but it seems to be like teased at, at least according to these rumors, it's teased as this kind of ruggedized outdoor watch. So it's funny to think of it as a Pro when it's not necessarily Pro, but more athletic or outdoorsy. I wonder if they'll go with the Pro moniker on it or something else. And so a fresh design. I'm scoping out some of these older rumors here, and the Apple Watch has not changed much apart from getting a bigger screen, smaller bezels. It's from the first one that ever came out. It looks largely the same. But the rumors suggest it won't have flat sides, but it'll be an evolution, quote unquote, of the rectangular shape. More durable casing, so some kind of titanium blend or compound, and a bigger battery and a new long-rumored low power mode. So we have like you have a battery saver mode on Apple Watches at the moment.
Yes.
But you don't really have anything approaching a low power mode like you have on iPhones. I guess the idea being that it doesn't ping for so much data, or just generally
it just shows you the
its
time.
Power usage. Oh no, that's the battery saver mode. So the rumor is there's going to be something in the middle that will keep you having your Apple Watch functions, but just at a reduced capacity. I assume.
I mean, I like the looks of the like flat edged renders that we saw, right, where it's like a little more square looking, even though I hate squarish watch faces. But that one, I think we're just all kind of waiting on something different. We want something that looks a little bit different at this point, and I honestly don't think the shape of the Apple Watch in general is going to change at all. Like, it was going to be this squircle situation that we've got going on now. We're never going to get a round Apple Watch like we tried to talk about a couple episodes ago. But we think at least one of the rumors floating around out there is that the Apple Watch 8 will have a body temperature sensor, which is all the rage right now. I mean, it was all the rage when it was like during the Rona and everyone was like, oh, fever is one of the first signs or like one of the earlier signs. And, some devices like from Fitbit, I believe, were already able to detect that. So now we've got an inactive skin temperature sensor on the Galaxy Watch 5. We've got the Watch 8 rumored to have a body temperature sensor. Would you, I don't know, do you want a body temperature sensor on you?
I mean, I wear the Oura Ring, which is another wearable that does do body temperature sensing, and it has the kind of algorithms and stuff have sensed when I've been ill with fevers and COVID. So it is a very good kind of signifier. And it's not, do you own like a proper like medicinal thermometer yourself, Sherlyn?
I have the ones where like you put it under your tongue.
Oh, so you do own one? Well, I don't. Like, so the closest thing to a thermometer in my house will be probably a gadget.
Yeah.
So having it in my iPhone, in my watch, in my Apple Watch would make a lot of sense. You know, the Apple Watch for a long time, once it kind of gave up trying to be a cool kind of designer-y device.
Yeah.
It's just gone really hard on the health and the fitness. So this is just another step in that direction. And yeah, we've seen it in have we seen it in any other wearables, Cher?
I mean, the Galaxy Watch 5, the Fitbit also has one, but I'm not sure. Like the Fitbit, I think were among the first to have them, but I don't know exactly which model or whether it was turned on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many features that companies announce, and then they're like, "Oh, but it's coming later."
Yeah, maybe. Cool. Oh no, we just got bought by another company, so let's delay it by a year.
We will talk more about Fitbit in a bit. By the way, but
that's what comes to mind though. The idea that, you know, sure, it has this feature in it, it has this sensor, but how will this improve my life? Is this a feature? Is this a function that I want to use or will use? That's the bigger question, right? And that's the question Apple has to answer.
I just love the idea of having something that can verify when I'm feeling ill, right?
Yeah,
I'm like,
prove it. Yeah, prove it to me.
Right, because I feel so, I gaslight myself in my head, right? I'm like, I'm sick. And then Matt's like, are you sure?
Are you just skiving?
Like, yeah, exactly. Are you just being lazy, you know? Or body temperature is also another sign or a helpful metric for people who are monitoring their cycles, whether it's ovulation, whether it's menstrual cycles. Body temperature can be an indicator that, you know, your period is approaching or you're ovulating, that sort of stuff. So it could be used for that. But given the climate right now around period tracking apps and that sort of stuff, I'm not sure that's exactly where they're headed. I just think could be potentially useful for more than just detecting an infection in your body or a fever. But it's not guaranteed. The body temperature sensor on an Apple Watch is not guaranteed. This is just a report and a rumor right now. Another thing we're expecting or hoping to see is the next generation of the Apple Watch SE, which, right? I really like the original. I thought it was a very good, like, in between or a good starter watch for most people. It was my starter Apple Watch, actually.
Yeah. You'd be hard pressed to tell the difference between when the SE came out and then the Series 5 and 6 around it. Like, you're getting pretty much the Apple Watch experience for hundreds of dollars less. Like, it's, again, really like just a really good smartwatch.
A lot of people I know actually prefer like have the SE instead of the like bells and whistles as like Series 7 model. So it's I'm excited to see what Apple is able to bring to the SE lineup for hopefully the same price or maybe less.
Yeah. Before we move on to the other rumors, like Cher, you've tested a lot more Fitbits and kind of Android Wear, Google Wear, not sure what they call it these days.
Wear OS.
There we go. See, what must be really memorable. What are you hoping to see in an Apple Watch that like the competition has already?
Oh my God, just better sleep tracking already. Like, I don't listen. People who tune into this show know how much I hate wearing a watch to track my sleep. But the fact remains that Apple is the only fitness tracking company of note out there or sleep tracking device maker out there that needs you to tell them when you're going to sleep before it will determine when you're going to sleep. Like, I don't know if you do this on your, okay, if you set your watch, if you wear your Apple Watch to bed, and you want it to track your sleep, as of watchOS 8, because watchOS 9 is slightly different, as of watchOS 8 and before, you needed to like set a bedtime schedule.
I do, and it does track it.
Yes, but if you don't, it won't.
So what?
Because you don't. Well, so then also the other thing is I set a bedtime schedule of, let's say, 11 p.m. to 9 a.m. Right? I'm like, oh, let's go to bed at 11, wake up at 9. It consistently tells me that I have been in bed 11:30 p.m. to 9 or 8 or whatever, and I'm like, excuse me, but I was like watching TV until 2 a.m. I've been messaging my friends.
So my schedule says like bedtime 9:30, and I don't, but it's still all the like little things say when I actually went to bed.
Yeah, so you stick to your bedtime pretty closely, right?
No, I don't. These are all like midnight, between 10 p.m. and midnight.
So I've been getting a different experience from you, but to me, the fact that like you have to set a bedtime for it to detect when you've fallen asleep or something is kind of an assist that other brands don't have and don't need at the moment. Like, again, Fitbits, if I am remembering correctly, on like some older Fitbits, I would wear the Fitbit to sleep in the middle of the day and it would know I've fallen asleep. Whereas like Samsung, doesn't I haven't tested that yet because I haven't worn a Samsung wearable and taken a nap in the middle of the day yet. But at night, it knows reliably when I've actually fallen asleep. So, and without me setting a sleep schedule. So that's just like, to me, a very unnecessary thing to have to do. And then finally, also with watchOS 9, Apple is bringing like the sleep, zones detection using your heart rate, but that's not actually live yet. So that's coming probably on the Watch Series 8. But that's, again, something that Fitbit has been doing for so many years.
Uber Ring
Samsung's
does it
been
already.
doing exactly. So like that's where I think Apple is a little bit behind, right? When it comes to sleep tracking.
Oh, it's not a little bit. You don't need to mince your words. Yeah, they're behind. They're just
it's very behind. I just was like, you were telling me that like it's tracking these things for you. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess I might be wrong. So anyway, the Apple Watch is very behind when it comes to like cardio, like zone detection. Like, even speaking of that, like, right, when we do again, watchOS 9 is supposed to bring some like more cardio information for when you're working out, and it'll show you the heart rate zone you're in. And I tried it on the watchOS 9 beta, and it did show really nicely too, like what heart rate zone you're in while you're working out, and show you the information after. But as of right now, watchOS 8 doesn't do that. Meanwhile, Samsung's been doing it for a while. Fitbit has been doing it for a while. So that's another area that Apple has been lagging the competition.
Yeah, at least we can see the seeds of that part.
Yeah, at least it's coming
already. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. So anyway, I didn't mean to go on a rant about something.
Definitely that's something someone can chop down to. What do you think needs to be improved, Cher? Sleep. Cool. On to the next thing.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, someone can chop it down, meaning you're like, Ben, cut that rant out. You're like, okay. But I'm like, no, we're keeping it in. We're keeping it in, Matt. You're just a guest. Stay away. Anyway, so now we've gone over the iPhone 14s, the Apple Watch Series 8, and possibly a Pro model. We are also expecting more things. I think some of the rumors, like, or what people expect, some of these what people expect posts, we're talking about Macs and iPads, because they're like, oh, the M2 should be coming to more models of the MacBook soon. And we've also got people speculating on AirPods Pros coming, because the AirPods Pro are like 2 or 3 years old by now. I would just say that my gut is telling me that I don't think we're going to see new Macs or iPads this time around. I think it's more likely that we will keep in the mobile devices or the wearables and phones sort of trend and see AirPods instead. Matt, does this make sense to you?
Yeah, to a certain extent. When you see other stuff at an iPhone event, it's never something that can rival in popularity. It's always either an accessory or it's a tease for something. You remember when Apple Silicon was first introduced? So we had an Apple Silicon nod before we got M1 introduced. Yeah. So at the Macs, I could see that kind of thing, a teaser of a next-gen chip for Macs and iPads. But AirPods, HomePods, Apple Watches we've already talked about. What have you been hearing about AirPods? Because I haven't stayed up to date on those rumors.
Me neither. Our audio guru Billy Steele is more up to speed on that. Obviously, I can imagine only like better fit, better sound quality, ANC boosts without as much pressure, I think was one of the earlier rumors that we were hearing. He is going to be attending the Apple event. This is something he's already publicly tweeted, so I don't believe I am spilling any secrets here. Which I
would assume there is a audio.
I don't know what it tells people, but this is what I think, that if Billy is going, we see some audio stuff. So maybe HomePods, like, is the
HomePods are where all the rumors are at, though, more so than AirPods, right? Although like AirPods Pro were released back in 2019,
they're
they're kind of due. They're my go-to headphones, to be honest. So I'd be intrigued to see something new.
The Max ones, right?
No, little AirPods Pro.
Okay, so I mean, ones. I would love to see if they bring out new Max, like extremely expensive high-end audio like headphones again. No, but what are the rumors we're seeing about the HomePods?
So the weird thing about the HomePods is they're going to add a screen, which is what all these other companies did several years ago. So imagine like an iPad-ish interface, but static in your home, attached to a speaker, kind of like the Google Home Hubs. They've changed their name. What are they called now?
Nest Hub Max. Oh, Nest Hubs.
Very much. Yeah, Nest Hubs. So something similar to that is the rumors. A lot of the rumors suggest like Apple is like readying 4 of them. So you could even get like a HomePod Max, a HomePod Pro, a HomePod Mini. Who knows? But yeah, I assume that's varying sizes of speaker and display. I'm sure we'll probably only see 1 or 2 at this event. But I'm intrigued. I still have a HomePod, mostly for airplaying music. But a more functional one would be good. There's definitely an overlap between my Nest Home Hub and my AirPod that doesn't need to be there. So yeah, one to solve both.
Your HomePod, nice. You mean, right? Not AirPod. You said AirPod.
Oh yeah, sorry, HomePod. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, I am curious. I've tried out HomePods, but I don't own one. I don't have one in my home. I'm very much like a Google speaker ecosystem person, and I also have an Amazon Echo, and they annoy me to no end. So I'd love to see if Apple has managed to like, resolve some of those issues specifically around like keeping their connection to each other, keeping their connection with my phone, not randomly dipping, understanding when I'm talking to them, that sort of thing. We've got Denny Leong in the chat asking, do we think we'll see premium speakers from Apple? And like, sound quality, like on the HomePod Mini too, right? Which is more of the device they've retained now because RIP HomePod. What's the sound quality of that like? I'm assuming that's what you have.
The HomePod Mini is surprisingly capable. I got the old school HomePod.
Oh,
I got
okay.
2 of them no less, and they were really expensive for what they were, but they sound great. And I'm not an audiophile, but I know they sound better than any other speaker I've ever owned. But one rumor I forgot to add in actually is that one of those possible new HomePods we could see would be more like a combined HomePod, Apple TV, like multimedia-y thing.
So like a smart display. See, I am kind of
no, but Apple TV. So I guess the idea is it would plug into your TV. Yeah. So you wouldn't need the Apple TV puck.
Okay. Wow.
But I can't even imagine the size. Would that be a HomePod Mini size? Would that be a HomePod size? Would it be a square thing? Would it have a display? Would it not have a display? There's like lots of different permutations of all those features.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
I'm intrigued to see what exactly lands, but that makes sense to combine a HomePod with an Apple TV, to me at least.
Yeah, and it would stream the audio from the Apple TV out to the HomePod itself, right? So you could technically just connect it to any HDMI.
It's like an all-in-one solution in a lot of ways for like better sound than most TVs.
I think it sounds like to me anyway that the HomePod area and the potential like maybe smart TV permutation or the Apple TV combination device might be the most interesting thing we're going to see, like in the sense that it's the least expected and the least incremental because we're still futzing around with a new product category here, and there's so much room to innovate and explore. So I'm personally more stoked for something like that than I am for, let's say, the next iPhone or the next Apple Watch, which is
really interesting.
I know that they're the flagship devices, right? They sell probably the most of phones and watches, but I'm just here for the HomePods, the ways to improve my life at home when I'm trying to chill, when I'm trying to relax, No,
but it's been things. I totally agree with that. Apart from like I said, when they first, what was it, iPhone 12 mini. Then before that, I would have probably said the AirTags. Then before that, the AirPods Pro. These are not the primary flagship devices that are thrilling me the most. It's often the ones on the side that kind of blindside me. And
really,
AirTags are amazing. Like it nags me when I leave the house without my wallet or my phone or without my keys, which never happens. But you know what I mean. Like they're totally working. They're doing the job.
I mean,
for me, they are.
I'm constantly getting reminded that I left like something at home that I didn't actually leave at home. And it's not through AirTags. It's through like the phone's own Find My with another with like my AirPods or something. They're like, oh, your AirPods are no longer, like you left the last time this device was seen was whatever. But this is a problem unique to me because I just have too many devices. You know what I mean? Like I have.
This is why Apple won't track your sleep. You're just.
Yeah,
you're incompatible with Apple technology.
That's what it is. Fatally incompatible with Apple. FIWA. That's my new thing. FIWA. Fatally incompatible with Apple. Sherlyn Lowe, FIWA at large. Anyway, very quickly about all these like little things that you said blindside you, more along the lines of like surprise and delight, right? It's what do we expect the unexpected to be from Apple? Do we think glasses? Do we think car? Do we think any of these like
none of those
sky things are coming? Okay, none of
those. I think an iPhone's big enough to be on its own. They can. Yeah.
One more thing. We don't need one more thing.
No.
We don't think far out means they're going to do a Star Trek thing. Okay. Very good. I guess we have to just stay tuned. The event is not far off. It is September 7th. That is in about 2 weeks or less. Myself and Engadget's senior news editor Billy Steele will be bringing you the news live from Cupertino. Maybe live, maybe not live. We'll see what is possible. We're still working with Apple to figure out who we can bring and that sort of what kind of equipment I'm bringing, that sort of thing. But stay tuned to Engadget.com. We will obviously bring you the coverage live. Our whole entire team will be working very hard to do that. Meanwhile, speaking of traveling to things, Matt, there is a show going on in Berlin soon that usually you and I meet up at, right? It's called Tell people what it is. You probably know the full name.
IFA. I don't even remember what it stands for. International Federation of...
No, it's got an actual German name, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like a SUNG or something.
Anyway, it's a European technology show in the vein of CES, a little bit MWC, a little bit of everything, to be honest. IFA used to be the show where Samsung would launch its kind of secondary flagship device, the Note series. So it was often famous for that now, but like I was mentioning about Apple can kind of launch an entire event on the basis of its iPhone. Samsung can launch an entire event on the basis of its foldables. And so that's what they've done already. We've kind of already seen Samsung's big showcase. So IFA, like it ebbs and flows exactly how interesting it is. It's often centered on home electronics, wearables, fitness tech, phones from kind of secondary, new incumbent companies like Huawei or Xiaomi, Oppo.
That's actually
the kind of vibe.
Yeah, and that's actually quite interesting because since it's a Europe-centric show, these phone companies that don't usually make a mark in the US or don't have a huge presence in the US actually come to IFA to showcase their stuff. And they do get good responses, right? Like again, like you said, Huawei actually now I think remains one of the bigger companies to still have a presence at IFA. They used to launch their next Kirin chipset or their next P or Mate phones at IFA. Excuse me, and it was one of the more exciting things to look at too. So this year it's sort of returning in person. They're calling it a full-scale return. Like the Rona, I guess everyone's considering us as out of the pandemic now. So I guess events are happening again. I remember in 2020, IFA was very optimistic and was like, no, we're going ahead with an in-person event. This pandemic is over. Back in August 2020, they were like, pandemic is over. Show's going to go on. And then in 2021, they were like, we take the L. We're not going to have an event.
Yeah, for sure. So I think our headline was IFA 2021 is cancelled after all, which was accurate. But they're trying to be back at full steam. We obviously reached out to all these companies, and often they can't really reveal too much to us in advance either. So that makes it tricky as to decide whether to attend and plan. But a lot of companies are willing to kind of brief you in London or in the US if it's an international company. So we have an idea of the kind of companies like we've already talked about. And we've even heard some of the stories that are already, we know some of the devices that are going to be announced there already. But we're not going to be there in person. So no trip to Berlin for either of us then, I'm afraid.
Yeah, y'all. I just need to tell people tuning into this show now that IFA is place where me, Matt, and the Engadget team go and gorge ourselves on pork skins, like fried pork skins at this place that Matt found called Transit. And this is just me shouting out Transit in Berlin. If y'all are ever in that city. You really want that
friends and family discount, don't you?
Nobody paid me, but I enjoy the food there. It's tapas style, like Asian fusion food. It's awesome. Anyway, but back to the actual tech news for a second here. Usually at IFA, like we said, Huawei is probably going to do a thing. We see a bunch of laptops. I think we usually see companies like Lenovo and Acer show up with a ton of stuff. Lenovo used to actually use IFA to debut some really intriguing concept stuff, like the Yoga Book, that dual e-ink display laptop, I believe, was first launched at an IFA. So I'd say keep an eye on Engadget.com because I think we're going to see more stuff from Lenovo. What other company? I usually see Fossil there. I usually see Garmin.
All the wearables like again, the ones that aren't a Samsung or an Apple wearable, you will often see the big news. And we've already heard Fitbit's upgrading its whole family.
Yes.
Did you read the story, Sher?
I took the briefing and I handed the story off to someone else. So we can talk more about Fitbit. So it used to be that Fitbit was one of the companies that would also be at IFA launching, but now I think they are also doing their own thing. Plus Google owns them now. But anyway, this week Fitbit announced that it is launching the new Versa 4, the Sense 2, and the Inspire 3. Pause for a minute here. I'm going to just let video know. Sorry, we're jumping around a bit. Julia, we okay? We're going to talk about Fitbit. The link is a little further down. All right. Picking it back up. All right, so the Sense 2, the Versa 4, and the Inspire 3 are basically the latest generation of Fitbit's like current top tier, mid tier, and like entry level trackers. In fact, the first two are actually more like smartwatches than they are a tracker. The Inspire 3 is the $100 basic or more basic tracker that Fitbit makes, and it's for those who kind of want to keep track of their activity level, but you don't really need all the bells and whistles. So it's more like a standard Fitbit looking thing. It's more of a cylinder than it is a watch shape thing. And I think one of the bigger changes this year is that it's getting a full color display, which is nice. Meanwhile, the Sense 2 and Versa 2, if you remember, the Versa is like the evolution of the Ionic, which was the company's first smartwatch. So the Versa 4 and the Sense 2 are getting very similar upgrades. For one thing, I think Fitbit knows how anal I am about sleep tracking. So they were like, Sherlyn, you're gonna love this. We made it so much lighter and so much thinner. So that's the thing, is 10% lighter and 15% thinner. I think that's the metric, but I might be mixing them up, maybe the other way around. But altogether, Fitbits were already very thin and light. These two devices, the Versa and the Sense, were already very comfortable. And so they were like, it's even lighter now and the difference is huge. You'll be able to wear it to sleep, no problem. I mean, I doubt that because I hate wearing anything to sleep, but I will still try these out and see if they feel any different. That's one of the big changes. There's also like they brought back a physical button, but they were very careful with the placement to make sure it doesn't like too easily get triggered, and but then still remain easy to press if you need them. So bunch of updates coming. I would say go to the article on Engadget.com to check out all the details. They've also, now that they are owned by Google, integrated some Google features like Google Pay or Wallet, and then, turn-by-turn directions on Maps is now available on the Fitbit, Sense, and Versa. So lots of good stuff coming. I think we're all more excited to see the Pixel Watch, but I don't want to get get too far away from the topic at hand, where Fitbit, usually, like I said, one of the exhibitors at IFA, but this time around, they've just exposed themselves ahead of time. It's very sexy. Matt, what else can we expect from IFA?
God, I wish I could tell you. We've got a few embargoes, so I can't reveal absolutely everything. But yeah, like I said, like home electronics is often a major one. They often seem some very like weird and unusual ones. I recall at one point there was a self-driving fridge that would like park itself in a
self-driving fridge
kind of thing. Yeah, it might have been a dishwasher. No, a fridge would make more sense. But yeah, like you're talking about like Japanese companies like Toshiba, Korean, like like LG and Samsung's kind of home electronics arm. They'll often have something very weird or some very expensive fridge that you can never afford but will want anyway. But yeah, like I feel like a lot of these trade shows, they're still kind of expanding and contracting to meet a post-pandemic reality. A lot of us don't want to travel if we don't have to, or if it's not worth our time. But yeah, I would say keep an eye out for the phone companies like the Huawei's, the Honor,
Sony's.
Sony.
Someone in the chat mentioned HTC. Are we expecting HTC ever to come back ever again?
Like, not that I've heard. They've got that crypto phone, so I'm sure that will go really well.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Xiaomi, Oppo, nothing from OnePlus, I don't think, because we've already heard a bit
Vivo
from them already. Vivo possibly. But yeah, like a lot of these often share very similar spec sheets, very similar phones. But they could have something interesting shape. We'll probably see something from HMD's Nokia.
That's true. Oh,
so yeah. So
if they brought back the 3310 again.
Again. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff you can expect, like probably like more mid-range phones or phones with like an interesting look or camera feature. If you're into that kind of stuff and you're not in the US, then there might be something to tempt you.
Right. Good for them. Good for y'all. I'm only mildly jealous. And yeah, the thing that you were talking about, like other appliances, there's usually some kind of like smart home association that has a big show there or something. There's like a sub show, one of those things. So you probably see more like, I don't know, smart lights or smart humidifiers, that sort of crap.
Smart connected air fryers, that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Living the dream.
So exciting. Totally. All right. So for all that news, IFA is happening around like the first week of September in Berlin, and we will have all the news on Engadget.com. So keep an eye on our site. The podcast will be taking a break next week. So this is why we're kind of like giving you the heads up now instead of on next episode. But, there will still be Engadget.com to give you all the news. Okay, we have like 7 minutes before we're expecting Jess. I think we can chat, right?
Yep.
Okay, great. So, CJ by Step said Nokia Lumia. Yeah, RIP.
I'm just gonna get a glass of water.
Do you? Yes.
Be right back.
I want to shout out to everyone that's here that we didn't shout out the first time. Not everyone, but hi to D-Man. Hi to Drew Carmokar. Hi to Glenn Farrelly. Hi to Kibili.
I didn't see that Drew Cormokar was here.
Yeah, it was I think it was a hidden comment. Turbine is here. Richard R, Mark B, Harshit Tyagi, Danny Leong, I already said during the chat. Sir Holmes, hello, Ian Stoddart. I'm looking at only names. I actually haven't looked at your comments. So if I'm shouting you out and you said something mean, I take it back. What else? Yeah, everyone here, it seems like a familiar name, actually. JJ says hi from, I believe, Italy. Ben, was there anything you wanted to shout out? Also, hi to Jia Wenjun.
We've got a few things. Buddy305 Love says, I got it. Far out means that Apple found a way to put the James Wood Space Telescope on the iPhone Pro Max. Wait, that's more of a Samsung thing. Never mind.
Oh man, Samsung did do that space shout out a marketing campaign for its space zoom before, by the way. Yeah.
I also made fun of Buddy for saying James Wood because James Wood is an actor. James Webb is the space telescope. Oi Billy says Apple's AR VR headsets are highly rumored thus far out, but I think we would hear more rumblings. I think that would be the sort of thing that would leak a little bit more, don't you think?
Don't know, maybe.
It's possible. It would be nice to have a one more thing, but the one more thing would be really, really surprising. Mark Dale said in relation to the body temperature sensor on new possible Apple Watches, the am I hot or not sensor.
Oh boy.
Remember
Mark.
The old internet? Remember Hot or Not? The thing that the thing that inspired Face Mash, I think, that eventually became Facebook. Goodness. Danny Luing said, could there possibly be a smart sound bar? Seems interesting. Seems like
Danny Leon, yeah. Yeah, sure. A smart sound. I mean, it depends on what you mean by a smart sound bar too, right? Like, what are the features that would make it smart? I mean, is it like just because it has a display, or is it like actively adjusting the volume level depending on what it detects the ambient sound might be, that sort of thing? Or if you like your movie, sometimes whisper dialogues and sometimes loud action sounds, and then the smart soundbar would be able to tune that for you and keep it more stable.
That would be cool, but also just like Siri embedded into this the same way that it's embedded into the HomePods. I have a soundbar that has like Alexa capability. I've never set it up because I don't really want a smart speaker.
Ben, I'm going to ban you from ever saying that word again, just FYI.
Damn it. Okay. The Amazon Echo virtual assistant. Sorry for everyone who
Yeah. In general, I just never say those words. I never say the hey G or the Echo's hot word. I just use something else.
That makes sense. And then I looked it up. What IFA stands for? That's International Funkausstellung Berlin. It's the international.
Of course, the old Funkausstellung.
I remember I remember the UNG.
Check it out now. The Funkausstellung, right about now.
Matt, well done. Did you all know Matt is a comedian? Okay.
So this is the International Radio Exhibition in Berlin, and it's been going on since the early 1900s. It's been going on since like that's amazing. It might be the 1910s, but it was definitely like around in the 1920s. And so like this was like I guess kind of the World's Fair for radio or something. Like people would go there and like see new like radio technology or something. I'm not sure if it was two-way communication or if it was just like new fancy like home radios to listen to your, BBC audio dramas or something.
I would like to quickly shout out a few more comments in the chat. There is Jacob Spencer saying purple iPhones with the like eye welling up emoji. Yeah, it might be. I mean, who knows what colors they introduce? Sometimes they bring out very nice colors. And then I saw this really long name. I'm sorry, CA56 Tunjay Patak, please let us know. CA is what we're going to call you for now. Says that it will be great if we get Type-C on iPhones this year. And yeah, the rumor was that iPhone, like not 14, but the one after, would get USB Type-C charging at last. I think that's a matter of when and not if at this point. So again, I don't think it's happening on the 14th. I'm saying
it will be next year.
Yeah, I think it'll be. Yeah.
When did I write mine? When will the iPhone get USB? I think 2017 or something.
Amazing.
Be right back. 1 second.
Yeah, I see that Ruindig also has the same question now. Yeah, so perfect timing. It's like Ruindig is in my brain or on my screen. I do think maybe when they announce Type-C next time, what do you think the wording will be? Like, what do you think their code word will be? Like connected or like hype up squad fam? Like maybe that's their next like
universal USB universal serial bus. So universal period.
Party together hype lit, so
no, what's that?
I'm sorry, are we talking Apple? I thought about Samsung.
That sounds like a Gen Z snack bar.
It's very Samsung, let's be honest. Like connect up squad. I don't know. Let's send us your thoughts, okay? Like what you think Apple's wording on its next invite will be if it's introducing USB Type-C on iPhones. What like universal seems pretty obvious, but I think that's too obvious for Apple. Like, they said universal on an invite. I think all of us would be like Type-C. So maybe it'll be like see you there, but with a C, the letter C.
No, they will not do that either.
I think it would be something like, global whatever, like kind of in reference, but also bitter reference to the fact that they're being forced a little bit into Type-C, and then it would be the same standard around the world.
Don't know.
E-Man says, what about a Bixby speaker?
Never, ever, never, ever again. No. And also, not the right event, D-Man. Bixby is still around. It does show up on like my the Galaxy Watch 5 and the like phones when we got a special guest here and we're gonna get ready to talk all about Gamescom, which I am going to just watch Jess and Matt talk about because I've curated what we should talk about, but I have no other feels really. I mean, I'm here to learn. Jess is on, and I believe we're just getting her situated. I am so excited. This is the show with Sherlyn, Matt, and Jess, like the best team.
all of Sherlyn's favorite people.
Honestly, everyone on the team is favorite in some way, So Matt's my favorite.
So it's meaningless.
Cool. Maybe. Well, Jess is my all-time favorite. So yeah, and then Matt is like I was like, maybe Matt is my UK favorite, and then I realized I'm like another favorite in the UK. I'm sorry, no, it's not true. Matt is my I don't know.
You're just really digging that hole. Let's talk to Jess.
Yes.
I'm here now. Hi.
I can hear Jess. Hey, love.
Hey,
Look at you rocking that leopard print top. I remember I saw it on your Instagram.
Yes, I wore this boating and I wore it everywhere for a while.
Beautiful.
But it's too hot now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, you do
wear
live
it
in the
indoors.
desert. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you ready to talk Gamescom?
I guess so. Yeah, I just sat down. Let me pull up my page.
Mark Dell in the chat says, do we get to clap again? I believe we do.
I think we do, yes. And so I was also looking up to see if you could cover Gamescom and IFA at the same time, or not at the same time, but like if it was possible to do both of them. And it is, because Gamescom is happening
now. Yeah, one runs
right
into
now.
the other.
And
so
then,
usually I think we have a different team go to Gamescom and a different team go to IFA.
Oddly enough, no. Yeah, oddly, they've never. I think often the space has been like a week or so.
Yep.
So it was never worth
They're
it
never
for US
that
people
close.
or UK people to stick around.
Yeah. So it was never close enough to just do back to back.
If you had someone in Germany, you could do it because it's only a 4-hour train ride between Cologne and Berlin.
You volunteering as tribute, Ben?
Yes, should have sent me like several days ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's focus on Jess for a second. Jess, let me pin you on Zoom. Let me take a look at what where's your microphone?
Well, the one that I'll be recording Audacity is here.
Okay. Can you like bring it up a little bit? Because there's always like I
just don't have a good mic.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, this is different. The mic you're hearing now is not going to be the Audacity mic, but this will help. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying that in the past when we've like when I've gotten the local file from you, I've always heard like the sound of the room before or along with the mic. So
there's like construction and shit outside too. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll deal with it. That's the sort of stuff that podcast producers need to deal with. Okay, so I think we're good on your side if you're recording on Audacity.
I am now, yes. Looking good.
Okay. So then we're going to sync again. So I'm going to count down from 3, and then we'll do just a really quick little bit of silence, like 4 or 5 seconds, and get into Gamescom. So do you want to go straight into that, Sherlyn? Like when I give you the sign that we're done with silence, just go straight.
Yep.
Okay, so counting down from 3, 2, 1. Okay, it's a little bit of silence. Okay, and we're good.
Okay. So speaking of shows that take place in Berlin, this year Gamescom is going on. Not Berlin, I meant Germany.
Take it that again. It's Germany.
I wish.
Speaking of right. Speaking of shows that are going on over in Europe right now, Gamescom is happening, and usually we send a pretty small team there, but this year we're just observing from afar. But there's been a lot of news coming out, and to tell us more about it, we've got senior reporter Jess Condit joining us on the show today. Hey, Jess, how are you?
Hello, happy to be here. Wish I were in Cologne though.
I know. I mean, I wish I was in Cologne. But anyway, so the show has been going on. You've been covering it remote. How's it been? Like, has the news been has there been a lot of news? Has there been good news?
Yeah, the big showcase, the opening night live showcase, this was hosted by Jeff Keighley. He does the Game Awards. He's the gaming Dorito King. He's great. No, he does this. So we had a big old like showcase just to kick off the show, and that was streamed. We covered it live. There were plenty of breakouts. Like there was plenty of like cool new trailers. Like, Hogwarts Legacy had a trailer. Ooh. We didn't write that one up because we've seen a lot of gameplay already. Like Lies of P, there was a cool trailer, but there was also some news like, Dead Island 2 exists.
Yeah.
And there's the like 2 trailers for that. And it's actually coming out, in a reasonable time. And it's pretty cool. And then the DualSense, there's a new DualSense controller from Sony, and that was like the major news. They dropped that early on in the show.
Yeah.
And it's like the elite for PS5. It's like the Xbox Elite for PS5. It's just a much more customizable controller. You can upgrade the sticks, you can change out the grips, you can adjust the sensitivity or like the tension on the triggers, you can set profiles. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Is any of that good for people with like accessibility issues? Like when you talk about swapping out sticks, and that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, absolutely. And you can like remap the whole controller. You can remap buttons, you can deactivate buttons. So yeah, if you don't use one, if you can't use one physically, you can just put it on a different button, put it on a different input method, and then also swap profiles between games. You know, if you're playing a racing game, maybe you don't want the same layout as if you're playing a shooter. Maybe you want that sensitivity to be different on your triggers or your analog sticks. So you can just do that, and then you can have swappable profiles. So yeah, it's a pretty good upgrade. The DualSense is already a really good controller, like just the standard one. This one is, it's a little uglier, but it's it's gonna do some cool stuff. Yeah.
It's surprising how much it still looks like the DualSense though. Like given comparison between the Elite and the Xbox controller, like these share a little bit more DNA.
I don't know PS controllers, so y'all have to tell me what's different here.
I'm just surprised it's taken this long for PlayStation to kind of match the Elite. We've had the Elite for a while now.
Well, it feels like it's taken a long time for Sony to do everything Xbox is doing recently, right? Like they're kind of playing catch up right now, like for real, from streaming to like getting rid of platforms. You know, cloud gaming is a huge part of it, but yeah, I see Sony kind of playing catch up, and I'm not surprised that they did this, but I am surprised it took this long. Yeah.
Well, but does Xbox have like a VR situation, or is that like only PlayStation? No. So I feel like Sony is a little ahead there, right? Wasn't there news this week about that?
Yeah,
we have a little bit. Yeah.
A little release window, a little tiny release window.
Okay.
Early 2023. Yeah, and that is one like bonus that Sony has that Xbox doesn't, but Microsoft is doing VR. Like this isn't something that they're not capable of. That's the thing. Sony can't do some of the things Xbox is doing. If Xbox wanted to, they could do all the things Sony is doing.
That's true. I mean, Microsoft, when I think of Microsoft VR or AR or mixed reality, I think of HoloLens, and HoloLens isn't that great. And I don't know what else to think about when it comes to Microsoft and MR. So I guess we'll have to see. I mean, you know, they have Kinect, but Kinect is not really a lot to do with that stuff. Or maybe
sorry, go ahead, Jess.
No, I was just going to say they have Kinect technology, you know, like they don't really have a Kinect anymore, but like they did a lot of work on that end for sure. They know some stuff.
I think it's best to also remember like Microsoft means Windows, which means Windows PCs, which means gaming PCs, which means all the other premium VR headsets are connected to Microsoft that way. So they're like taking two very different angles to gaming VR, but they're going to meet in the middle at some point.
Gotcha.
As
so
usual, Microsoft is just going to partner with everyone, buy all the studios, buy all the companies, and then they'll own everything. It'll be awesome.
Speaking of studios, all of the studios. So what else did we see this week? You mentioned, what was it? Death Island? Dead Island 2. We were going to quickly mention that. What's the big deal about this title? Because I've not been following.
Dude, this has been in development for like a decade. So this was announced, Dead Island 2 was announced, I want to say like 2014. I don't have the article in front of me, but like literally 8 years ago or something like that. And it's just been in development hell. Like it's been going through studio changes, and there was a huge situation where a bunch of studios closed and were bought, and they were kind of part of that with Deep Silver. So this has just been a long time coming. Dead Island is a series that a lot of people really liked. It was at the height of the zombie craze, you know, like every game was zombie, all the TV was zombie. But Dead Island did it really well. It's an RPG, it's tongue in cheek, it's very gory. They did some weird media stuff that will always stick in my head, like PR boxes of very strange gifts. But they have learned and they've grown, and now it's Dead Island 2, and it looks good. It looks like a lot of fun.
Where do I sign up for this PR box? I kind of want it.
You don't want it.
Okay. As long as it's not like dead rats, I'm good.
No.
Okay. Matt, have you been following the Dead Island hype or no?
I was just kind of stunned when I woke up to like so much Gamescom news. Like just saying, she was like, there was this big showcase, and there was actually a lot of stuff in here that we wrote about. And
yes,
so there's one that I wouldn't mind hearing what Jess thought. It's this multi-world game called Everywhere, and it's kind of headed by the old GTA lead Leslie Benzies, I think. What did you think of this?
I'm interested. I mean, this has been another one where it's like we've known he's been working on something. He left Rockstar under like very hostile circumstances, like it wasn't a very elegant parting. But this was the dude that was like running GTA for quite a while. And now he's back with this like multi-world like, living game where it's like a sim situation, but it almost feels like a platform for a metaverse situation. I wonder if they're kind of tapping into that. No, it looks interesting. We didn't really see a lot of like gameplay footage or get concrete details, but the world they were showing off looked, vast, very sci-fi, very like fantasy sci-fi.
It's like almost cool. Like Ready Player One-ish feels, where there was like a very Fortnite-y kind of different bios, jumping shooty, and then there was like a photorealistic other bit, but we're not sure. Could the Fortnite-y bit be a game within that game, or does something in the metaverse dictate changes that make to the photorealistic world, or like it's kind of makes your imagination go wild, but. I mean, I need to just know what the heck this game is because I have no idea.
Right. Well, do you remember when Fortnite was announced, when Epic announced Fortnite, and it was such a
tower defense game? It was a tower defense game.
It was a tower defense. It looked so awful. It looked bad.
Like it just looked like a no-mark game. I think Edgar wrote it up. He was just like, "Here's a tower defense game," and he was the first person to write about Fortnite for us. And he's not one of our main FIFA guy normally. But love it. He was our main Fortnite reporter at the start.
Yeah. So it's like this, this game, we don't really know. We don't really know what they're doing. They just wanted to tease it, and they certainly did. But I'm intrigued. I am intrigued. I think that Leslie obviously knows how to build a game that people like to play for a long time, and like a world that people want to live in, even if it, GTA was the real world. I'm excited to see what he does with a fake world.
Speaking of fake worlds and some of these games, I wanted to just like kind of call out some of the games that I personally saw as potentially very interesting, like Dune Awakening. Did something got announced with like what's happening here? Tell me about it, Jess.
Yeah, there's an MMO, I want to say. Let me pull up the story.
It's a survival MMO apparently set in the Frank Herbert's science fiction universe. And it seems to be set in like Arrakis or something. And I mean, if what survival MMO, so like an online world, right?
Yeah. So this is something where you'll be able to, team up with your friends and like kind of live in the Dune world and play online. And it seems like, so the cinematic trailer they showed was like, big creature coming out of the sand and you got to fight it. Like that's, epic boss battle in the Dooney desert. Like that sounds fine, right?
Dooney desert. Yeah.
Dooney desert.
I mean, it looks like it requires like some serious like power to it. It's PS5, Xbox Series X or S, and PC. So it's not one of those like lighter console type games. Is it like a big deal, do you think?
Well, it depends. I mean, licensed games, it's hard to say, right? I think Dune is a fantastic starting point for a video game. This makes a lot of sense. I think it really can work like naturally. So they're not shoehorning anything necessarily. It really depends. It could be like a, Destiny, but in the Dune world, or it could be, I think it has some potential.
This is already the second Dune game we've got since the kind of the movie remake. I'm wondering if we're going to see another kind of Lord of the Rings situation where they're just going to go hard on the franchise and just game and just see what lands.
Yeah.
It's going to be like the other one was like a strategy game, I feel, real-time strategy. Dune Spice Wars, I didn't play it. Which is in early access.
Oh, right. Yep.
But
I've heard of that one too.
There you go. So there's already a Junie game out there. This one seems, So this one seems a little bit more, well, at least from the cinematic, it seems a bit more big budget. But that's just the cinematics. Yeah, we have no idea how exactly it's going to play just yet.
Yeah, it seems also very immersive, more than a strategy game might be. But Another game that jumped out is Justin Roiland's High on Life.
Right.
So yeah, I know you're laughing. Just tell me more.
This game, dude, I'm actually intrigued by this game. I'm not the biggest like Rick and Morty person, but I understand why it's funny. I do like Justin Roiland's humor. But this game looks like it's a cartoony, silly shooter with some like mature jokes, it seems like, but all the guns are like cartoon bugs and they have faces and all the guns talk to you while you're shooting them. Like this could get really annoying really fast, right?
Yeah,
like this game, it has to toe a line where it's not throwing so much at you that you're just like overwhelmed, like stop talking at me.
Right.
But I think Roiland knows what he's doing there. So this is going to be something I'm actually like possibly might play, especially after seeing this gameplay footage that we got at Gamescom. Like they showed a boss battle that actually looked fun where you're using 2 weapons, you're like grappling with one, you're shooting with the other. The whole thing is filling with slime. You know, it's like, it looks like actually enjoyable. So I'm into it. But they pushed the release date back just a little bit. It's coming out in December 13th. Yeah.
This reminds me of a game that I have played as a kid that I completely forgot. I don't know if you guys will judge me for this. I played there was a South Park game.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The shooter, the N64
It's great.
one.
I don't think it was just the N60. There was another one where like they go through some kind of, I don't know. I remember I was young and I played it and it was just very funny. And I don't remember if it was a shooter or if there was some other South Park game that was not a shooter.
There was a multiplayer shooter, like I swear maybe it wasn't just that maybe it wasn't just N64, but I think I know the game you're talking about.
It was just a lot of fun. But anyway, this reminded me of that. I was there for the crass humor. I was there for the story, like tie-in type things. But anyway, moving on to another title that seemed like it was pretty interesting. Tell me, Jess, about Phantom Hellcat.
Okay, so like this was one that probably not a lot of people even noticed, honestly. This is one we wrote up because I liked the look of the trailer. Yeah, and it was like just a quick little thing. It's from a Polish publisher who published Ghost Runner and Chernobylite. Yeah, and these are like, you know, these are acclaimed games. They've done well. But this is something they're developing with an in-house studio. And it's like Nier inspired, and it's very hack and slash. It stars this girl this woman who's roaming through like pop culture fantasy lands, and she's just hacking and slashing. It changes from 2D like platforming to 3D melee combat, you know, pretty seamlessly it looks like. So yeah, I was just kind of intrigued by it. So we wrote it up. I wrote it up, and it's coming to PS4, Xbox One, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC at some point.
Does this interest you, Matt?
Yeah, I was just watching the trailer. It looks really cool. So like Jess was saying, it seems like the protagonist kind of goes through all these different fantasy worlds. So at one point, she's just kind of lit up with spotlights and is just fighting all these puppets, possibly, or mannequins on a stage. And it does look really slick, really cool. And I know Jess often, you know, you can't get Jess to shut up if it's Devil May Cry. So I think there's a little bit of that.
I didn't say it. I said Nier.
I know,
okay?
but
Thank you for my restraint.
Sorry.
Okay.
I respect your
you.
restraint. Yeah. You self-filtered there, but
I did.
Yeah, it could be a lot of fun.
I can't talk about Dante every time.
Yeah, not every week.
Okay.
Yeah.
You did. That was the game you tried to get me to play, right? Devil May Cry.
Yeah, because it has cute like demon boys. I think you would like it.
That's right. I forget. Demon Boys. Yes. Why haven't I'm getting a PS5. Anyway, so I want to get to both of your like personal shout outs really quick, but I still have a couple that I noted. For example, The Expanse, a Telltale series, like what, like we got a release date for that or something, Jess?
Yeah, so this game is also like, it's from Telltale, right? Which doesn't technically exist as a studio.
Yeah.
So that's really funny. I'm trying to find the there it is. It's the link. I'm pulling it up with you.
It's next summer. It's the release date, right? Like, which is a year from now. What?
So yeah, this isn't surprising, honestly, the fact that it is, that far out still, just because Telltale's been going through it. And this is a branching narrative game. It's like the other Telltale, like The Walking Dead or Wolf Among Us. And I think it'll be fine. Telltale knows what they're doing with these games. I mean, fans of The Expanse, I know, really like The Expanse. So I think that there's a lot of love to be put in this game. And I really hope they capture that. So if it takes another year for them to kind of get there, then that's totally fine with me, right? Like, I think The Expanse fans are willing to wait for a good game. Yeah.
Fair enough. Matt,
Maybe.
do you play Telltale games?
Yeah, so I think the one I played most is actually the Batman ones, which are
Arkham Knight?
Not Arkham Knight, no, different one again. So that's the thing. So they made this own, like, again, Telltale style, like quick time events, walk around investigating things in a Batman-y, detective-y style. And it's a really good game. I ended up playing both of them. I think I got one on sale, and so I ended up buying the second one. So they're always just really tightly made. You just kind of feel like it's almost like a good book or a good movie. It's not about quick twitch reactions. It's just, kind of walking through the story, making your own decisions and branching the story out. So yeah, like, I'm not a huge Expanse person, but like Jess is intimating, if you're an Expanse fan, I'm sure you're super excited to kind of play through a Telltale game that will take you into that universe and let you make your own decisions.
I enjoy playing the Telltale Walking Dead game.
It's what I still haven't played. I think I'm just waiting to kind of somehow buy all of them and put them on my Switch and just having them all there.
Matt, you never played The Walking Dead?
No, I think I played like 2 sequences of like season 5 without playing anything.
Season 1.
Yeah, I just closed my laptop.
Just close it. Go read my reviews from 20 years ago.
It was when you were saying that, what was it? Oh god, the zombie game. What were you saying? Like
Dead Island.
Dead Island 2. And I think like that was around the year you and me met for the first time at Gamescom, probably.
For real.
Yeah. Around that year.
Oh, memories.
We talked briefly about, what was it, the Batman game you were talking about, Matt? There was also some kind of Gotham Knights news this week, right? What is happening here? Why the reaction, Jess? What's up?
Well, because it's Gotham Knights. I don't have a lot of hope for this game. I gotta say, like, just being totally honest, I don't think it's gonna be very enjoyable, at least not for me. I feel like they're kind of just pushing it out, and they know it's gonna sell because it's Batman related, which happens with these licensed games sometimes. But hey, I'm so willing to be proved wrong. It's just everything we've seen, it's all very cinematic, and then the gameplay they show is pretty generic. Like, we haven't seen anything really innovative, anything to kind of grip onto and say, wow, that's why I want to play this game, aside from the characters. But it's coming out 4 days early, so yeah.
Whoa, a whole 4 days. I mean, like you're saying, like, I'm looking at the trailer now in the background here, and it reminds me of Marvel's Avengers, which is another game both of us were like done with pretty immediately after we both kind of experienced it.
Truly, yeah.
But yeah, so maybe we're wrong. We haven't played this, so it could be amazing. There's Dr. Freeze in it, and that's fun, isn't it?
Oh,
great.
This Arnold voice is like...
No, I don't think so.
Oh, they would have made a big deal, right? Yeah, I would play that game just to, just for that. Hint, studios, hint. Was it Warner Brothers?
Yeah.
Okay. Get Arnie in there and you get more people blind. I don't think so. Good to know. Well, now I want to know, Jess, is there anything else you wanted to shout out before I ask Matt the same question?
Yeah, so actually a game that we haven't written up yet, because we've just seen trailers for it, and it's like we're still kind of building some intrigue here, but I'm going to be kind of diving into this one, Lies of P, which is, every time I see a trailer for it, it's like I forget it exists, and then I see a trailer and I'm like, oh right, I'm like super into whatever this is.
Wait, why is it P? Is that what
I have no idea.
As in that's that's the name? Why is it P? Like P-E-E?
No, sorry, Lies of P.
Oh, Liza.
Like, how dare you lie to me? Lies.
Oh, okay.
Lies of the letter P or P-E-E?
This is the Bloodborne-esque.
It's the
Gothic Pinocchio. Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
I'm sorry. I'm so obsessed with P-E-E, but go on.
Well, that's the thing. When you say the name out loud, It's like, wait, you want me to play what? Liza,
Yeah.
whoa, hang on. We just met, settle down. But
Yeah.
but no, it actually seems really cool. Every time I see a trailer, I am like, whoa, this Pinocchio gothic weird fantasy. It's like Alice Madness Returns, but Pinocchio. Yeah. So
That's
I'm into
amazing.
that. And we'll be following up on that. Yeah.
Matt, how about you? Any fun thing that you saw that you want to shout out?
One game series that's just kind of always bubbled in the background. It's just an anthology. Oh, sorry, I've kicked off my S word. The Dark Pictures, The Devil in Me. So this will be the last game of the Dark Pictures anthology, which has been running for a few years in the background now. I think it's first announced in 2018. And these are those kind of cinematic, again, a bit like Telltale, but a little bit more quick time and a bit action-packed. You might have heard of a game called Until Dawn. That was made by Supermassive Games as well, if I remember correctly. And they're often, each game is usually taking a trope and they'll kind of run through these narrative stories, so often like separate threads that kind of come together or cross over. And not only could you play it on your own, you could also play it cooperatively with someone or even share a file and they could hop in to the story where you're at and kind of continue it. So there's a little bit of cooperative gaming in there as well. But these are kind of like, even more than Telltale, these are more like sit back, watch the horrific thing happen in this horror movie game and learn what happens. And it's very sinister. Man. And there's an evil, sinister man in the library and there's now, I think this might be the third or fourth game of the series. This will be the last one. And yeah, I've only ever played the first one, but it's like the Telltale Walking Dead series. It's one of those games that I've often wanted to kind of go back into. And maybe when this one comes out, I can get a sweet deal on all the others and play right through. But I've always really enjoyed these games, and like the production values are amazing. They use like proper cinematic voice actors and famous Hollywood types and stuff, which kind of helps deliver
that atmosphere. Yeah. Can I play it on PC?
Yes, I think.
Okay.
So yes,
probably.
I'm making a list of games I want to play but will likely never play.
What you should do is just buy an xCloud subscription share and play it on your phone or your iPad. Just plug in a joypad and you're good to go.
That's a good point. Okay, well, I'm still tempted by the idea of an Xbox Series S or the PS5, which if I ever get my hands on, will make me big time. Anyway,
will make me a big time gamer.
Big time gamer. Yay. You will never. Yeah, I know. All I want to do is just play games with Jess and Matt.
Let's do it, baby.
Yes, babes. All right. I think that's all of the Gamescom news we have time for this episode. Thanks for joining us to break it all down, Jess. Your insight, as always, is amazing and appreciated.
Thanks for having me.
Where can people find you online, Jess?
At Jess Condit on Twitter and Jess L Condit on Instagram.
Fantastic. We'll see you soon.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. We can do some. Do we have time for a chat with Jess around, or Jess, do you have to leave?
No, I can do more if we need to.
Yeah, we'll just do like a couple minutes.
When's your hard out share?
It's in 15 minutes. So I think we can do 2 minutes of this. I'll blaze right through the rest. All right.
CJ by Steps said, I had Dune on my Pentium 486. This was not the first Dune game. Like Dune Tactics was not the first Dune game. People have been obsessed with Dune for decades.
Yes, this is true.
Absolutely. D-Man is here to judge my South Park games, saying there were a lot of South Park games. There was a story one, but D-Man, I appreciate it. Just keep me real. Someone said hi, Jess, and I wanted to go ahead.
Oh, hi. No, just a lot of the South Park games are actually good. Like
they were so much fun. I think this was the asshole of truth or something like that. I can't remember the actual
truth.
Of course.
Thank you.
Of course it would be named.
Oh, wait. No, but you said
that's
you
not a shooter. Yeah,
it's not a shooter.
You played it as a kid. This game.
Well, maybe in my mind I was a kid.
Game.
Yeah, mentally a kid.
Yes. Yeah. I think whenever I play a South Park
that it
game,
had like a little shooter segment.
No.
Did it?
No, I don't remember any shooting in this game. It was Stick of Truth.
I thought you said
probably
it was a shooter.
Okay. No, Matt was like, Matt remembered a shooter. No. Rewind, go back, listen to what I said.
All right.
I refuse to be proved wrong by anyone.
By receipts, I know.
By facts.
Dude named Charlie said hi to Jess. That's the one that said hi. So hi to Dude named Charlie as well. Tailspin video games or Holmes said. I don't know what that is.
Sir Holmes also mentioned Killzone on PS5. Has there been any signs of whether or not there will be a Killzone for PS5?
No.
No.
Sorry.
Excellent.
Sorry.
Excellent. Oh, Buddy305 Love said, don't play Elden Ring because dead rats are everywhere. Thank you. Thanks for the shout out. I will never play that. Give me a list of games to avoid if I have a phobia of mice and rats. Thank you.
You're not going to play Elden Ring anyway. I got to say.
Yeah.
I don't think that's on the list anyway. Yeah.
No, that's good to know. I don't think actually there were too many big questions for Jess, so that's good to know. We had CJ by Step said the new controller looks nice. D-Man said that he appreciates the great coverage. Jess, Team Engadget. So that's Jess, Igor, Chris Holt. Aaron supports us running things, I think, right? And then
he's on vacation.
He's on vacation doing nothing.
Jess Conda was running things.
Yeah. That's how we like to do it.
Igor did a lot of breakouts. Yeah, it was really cool.
We had team effort. Anything else, Ben?
Don't think so.
Awesome.
Yeah, let's just get to it.
Yeah, sorry guys, we have a little bit more to get through, and so we're just gonna power through it. Thanks again, Jess. You know how to send over your file to Ben.
Oh yeah, that was it. We're good.
Yep.
Yeah,
we're good.
Girl.
Sweet, love it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining.
See
you later, babes.
Love you all. Bye.
Bye. Okay, we're gonna power through other news. I'm actually gonna skip the first two. Just start from the Samsung thing, and then just do the 4 items below that. I mean, the 3 items below that. All right. So that was Gamescom, but there was some other news this week. We don't really have time this episode to go through them all, so just wanted to shout out that Sam's review of the Galaxy Z Fold 4 is up. If you were having any lingering questions, go check that out. My review of the Z Flip 4 is also up and coming soon. By the time this podcast is available on audio platforms, my Watch 5 and Watch 5 Pro review will also be up on Engadget.com, so go over and check it out. If you still have questions, of course, feel free to send them to podcast@engadget.com or via Twitter if you're on that social media platform. Matt, I know you also have been playing with the Watch 5 and the Flip at the very least. What are your thoughts so far, really quickly?
So really quickly, Flip has like I can't use my words anymore. It's a good phone. It's
the
a
Flip
functional
4?
phone that's foldable. Yeah, the Flip. It does everything I need a smartphone to do. The battery life's not great, but it's not terrible, which is my biggest fear. I'm already using it to film in the kind of stand-up mode where it's kind of standalone and can kind of film from that. I think that's wonderful. Works really well. And a lot of the other apps, the Flip modes for a lot of them are really useful and compelling, and that's a very good sign. I still like, the more I fall in love with the Flip 4, the less interested I am in the Fold 4.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you. I feel
but
like
we both of us were saying this last year as well. So I think it's just everyone else is starting to become
catching
aware
up
of it as well. Yeah, pretty much.
I still think there is space in the world for a Fold 4, like that sort of phone. And I think people like Sam are perfect for it, right? He's like such a power
Nerds.
user. I will tell him what you said. And also like also we had a guest on the podcast, Mr. Mobile, Michael Fisher.
Nerd.
Another one, yes, another big time foldy nerd boy. They're perfect, perfect users for the Fold 4. But for someone more mainstream or more selfie obsessed like I am, the Flip 4 definitely like is the way to go. Watch 5, I know you wore it to sleep one time.
Oh mate, yeah. Watch 5 and Watch 5 Pro. Watch 5 Pro is just so big and thick.
Thank you. Okay.
So big and careful everyone. So big and thick. Like I don't mind sleeping in a smartwatch, but it's just every waking moment, it's a big, heavy, feels heavy just by the size, thick watch. And it takes a little time for me to kind of get used to the kind of quirks of Wear OS. I'm just gradually getting there. But the features are good. It's bright enough. The battery life is pretty good as well. But why is it so big? When it's a wearable, it's such a priority to get that kind of profile correct. And this is not it.
I'm glad I'm not the only person calling it big, because I feel like as a person, again, with fairly small wrists, whenever I call something big, the comments are always like, I like big watches.
Sure, you don't have big hulking forearms like me, an anonymous internet commentator.
I love these,
And that's just Sam Rutherford.
He's just trolling away at me. Well, we will be continuing to share our thoughts on the watch and the Flip and the Fold. I don't think we're done with sharing our thoughts just yet, even after the reviews have been published, because we're going to keep, using them for the long term, tell you more about the durability over time, tell you how they perform over time too. So stick around. I will mention it on the podcast as well. Some quick other news this week. Acer released a new Chromebook Vero. It is the first of the Chromebook series that it has to be built to be repaired and recycled. Acer's been doing this for a little bit now, designing laptops that are made to be eco-friendly. So, now that there's a Chromebook version of it available, I'm sure Nate Ingram, our resident Chrome OS aficionado, is all kinds of excited.
Nerd.
Another nerd. And then there was a little bit of very funny news over the weekend. Specifically, I think Friday, we saw Mark Zuckerberg push out an avatar to represent himself in Horizon, which is the Horizon, their VR world that Meta is building. And a very chintzy looking, I don't know if chintzy is the right word, but a very basic looking avatar.
And basic looking backdrp of two.
An Eiffel Tower.
3D,
yeah.
That South Park game you played as a kid probably had better graphics than this.
I think so too. So it was first funny that the avatar looked so basic. Then, Zuckerberg followed up and released a new avatar, I think a few days later, that was better rendered. It had depth, it had shading, it had more details. And I think Carissa very, very hilariously tweeted I wonder how many people had to put in overtime hours just so Mark could put out a new, better looking avatar. And I mean, she's not wrong. It's ridiculous. And Mark Zuckerberg actually acknowledged in his Facebook post sharing the new avatar, he acknowledged that, oh yeah, I know the first one I shared was a little basic, but we had no time. And I was like, no one was rushing you for this though. Nobody.
You're the boss.
Yeah. No one was I won your avatar now, Mark. The public wasn't clamoring for that.
Yeah, in our story, we embedded a great tweet. It's from Emily Gorkensky, and she writes, "Come work for Meta, where the most brilliant technologists of the day have achieved 1995 level graphics." So accurate, it hurts.
That's fantastic. So there you go. That was some great, Friday popcorn for me. And then the last thing I wanted to leave you all on for other news this week is that they're making a movie based on the BlackBerry story. And this is a very, I feel the sort of movie that is extremely suitable for the Engadget Podcast audience. This is the exact sort of nerdery that our audience would like. Matt, the words, a movie based on the rise and fall of BlackBerry, how does that speak to you?
It speaks to watching something else. I was never a Crackberry guy anyway. I respect the physical keyboard. I get it. I don't need to see a film about it. It's it does make me think, what kind of tech story dramas would you like to see immortalized in film? Antenna Gate, or, when Apple's iPhone, I want to say 4S maybe, where if you held
exploding,
the phone... exploding Galaxy Notes.
I want to watch a spy thriller where the only weapons they're allowed to use are exploding Galaxy Note 7s.
Yes, like grenades.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
or they use it to sabotage planes or something. I know that's a sensitive topic,
throw it like a ninja smoke bomb and escape.
Yeah.
And if you a good one.
Yeah. Okay, we're writing this movie. Okay, this is an Engadget intellectual property right now.
Both of these ideas are still better than the BlackBerry, the rise and fall of BlackBerry.
Well, that's what I wanted to leave you, our dear audience, with this week. Any ideas for tech-themed movies, send them our way, podcast@engadget.com. Moving on quickly to what we're working on. I have been, helping out with some of these IFA embargoes that we've been talking about. So again, stay tuned to Engadget.com for more of that stuff. And then, I'm flying out very, very shortly to Cupertino for the Apple event. And we'll bring you all of the news there. I'm also in the midst of moving. So if y'all don't see me for a bit, just know that I am struggling under 3 piles of mess, and that's where I'm at. Matt, what's up with you?
I've got a backlog of games I need to play, but for work reasons. I mean, I won't be doing it during the day, but I just need to play them and write about them and stuff like that. So I'm doing that. And then I'm going to Mexico on September 1st. So
Jealous.
no Apple events, no nothing. See you later, suckers.
Dang, I am extremely jealous. But okay, well, we've got other people working while you're out, Matt.
Got
and
other people doing their work. Someone's doing their job if you're not, Matt.
Yeah, thankfully we have a team, and I would like to shout out some work from our team this week. For example, Sam, in addition to publishing the Galaxy Z Fold 4 review, also produced a hands-on with the HyperX Armada 25. This is, I believe, a pair of gaming monitors that don't have stands. They have arms, however, and it looks like a very intriguing setup. I encourage you to read Sam's hands-on to find out how you can declutter but still maximize your homework space or your Battle Thrones. Is that what people call your gaming setups?
Battle Station.
Battle stations. Thank you. And then we've got Billy, who is currently, I think, working on the Galaxy Buds 2 Pro review, but in the meanwhile, had to test a whole slew of other headphones, including the Sennheiser Momentum 4. His review of that is up, and his verdict, at least according to the headline, is that it produces stellar sound while delivering insane battery life. So I think I might need to buy those. Meanwhile, I don't know if you contributed to this or not, Matt, but we also published a story about Engadget's favorite backpacks. Here are things.
Share. I would have contributed, but I'm not a giant nerd.
Oh, backpacks are a nerdy thing now. I see. I didn't know you had to be a nerd to use a backpack. All right. I didn't contribute.
Well, this was a story from about a month ago. I remember because it came along the same time as that with the game Stray. They launched a companion cat backpack. So,
that's cute as hell. Oh, that's Stray. Yeah.
Okay. So we're circling back to this, I think, just in the run up to back to school times.
Yeah, we've been updating a bunch of stories. So this one recently got updated as well. But if you haven't and you're on the lookout for a backpack, here's what the team has actually paid for with their own money. Meanwhile, I've been watching a bunch of shows, trying to decompress sometimes or trying to test things out. I saw something very exciting yesterday that I can't tell you guys about, I don't think. But it's an upcoming show that is set in fantasy world that is people are very hyped for. If you can guess, I will say yes. But my pick this week, and I don't know if you can watch it over in the UK, Matt, is House of Dragons, the new Game of Thrones spinoff. Have you seen this, Matt?
No, but I heard it's really heavy on the incest, so I'm probably okay.
Not yet. Okay, so far we've only got one episode. It premiered over the weekend or last week or something like that. Anyway, it's basically the story of the Game of Thrones world, but set close to 200 years before the events of Game of Thrones. And it focuses on the Targaryen family, which, if you're familiar with Game of Thrones at all, is Daenerys Targaryen's, ancestors, and basically around how they had a civil war around that time that caused, I think, the Targaryens to kind of lose their position as the ruling family, and making way for the Game of Thrones universe that happened, really, like all the rise of the other families, like the Starks and the Lannisters and that sort of stuff. If you're into Game of Thrones at all, I think you'll enjoy it. I think I had a very fun time being immersed in this world again, even if it's just for one episode. Acting is strong. It's like familiar. I like it. And yes, incest is part of that world. Unfortunately, that was part of the appeal, I think, of GOT, where like a lot of people were watching it. Come on, admit it. Some people watched it because it's like wild as F. There's a lot of stuff.
Can I pretend I was never on this podcast?
You want to recuse yourself? You want to step away for a moment? I didn't watch it for the incest. I watched it for the plot. There's just such great plot. Fair warning, of course, it's got plenty of nudity. So if you're not...
That's why you watched it. Mystery solved.
But anyway, that's what I watched recently, as well as this other secret thing that I can't tell anyone about, but still want to brag about anyway. And when it's finally, up there, I can talk about it. What have you been doing to relax, Matt?
So I've started playing not one but two RPGs, both on the Nintendo Switch. First one is like a major kind of big budget role-playing game called Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I've never played another Xenoblade Chronicles or otherwise, but so yeah, it's often tricky to kind of get into a new RPG series. I'm mostly born and raised on Square Enix role-playing games, so they're always a different flavor, play a little bit differently. But I'm sucked in. Like this has like these incredible cutscenes that are like some kind of high octane anime. There's like vibes of Evangelion. It's really fun, really playable. So I'm really enjoying that. Playing my way through that. That's probably going to take a long time to finish. So I'm just kind of tentatively walking through it. I'm also started Live Alive, which was like a Super Nintendo era RPG. Very cute, very like 16-bit pixel graphics, but now put on a kind of faded kind of, you'll probably see in the video we've got on this live stream, but HD 2D, so like 3D landscapes with 2D graphics on top kind of thing. Looks good, like a really nice sense of humor, beautiful writing, really fun game. You kind of play through 9 different chapters of a very different story, and I presume at some point they all come together at the end, but there's like a Chinese chapter, a cyber chapter, a ninja chapter, a prehistoric chapter, all like very different play styles, very different characters. And yeah, it's a very cute little game. And it's the first time it's been released in English. So a great time to play it for the first time. And that's out on Switch now as well.
I see that they're both on Switch, so I actually might give them a shot when I fly to Apple, right? Like
Live Alive is playable for sure. Okay. I'll give that one a go.
Okay, good to know. All right, I'm going to do the outro.
Yes.
Well, that's it for the episode this week, everyone. Thank you, as always, for listening. Our theme music is by game composer Dale North. Our outro music is by our very own Terrence O'Brien. This podcast is produced by Ben Elman. You can find Matt online at
that Matt Smith on Twitter, and now at that Matt Smith on Instagram, because I changed it. Yay.
Proud of you. If you want to tell me what games to avoid for my rat phobia, please do not text me or send me pictures of rats, but you can hit me up on Twitter. I am at Sherlyn Lowe. Email us your thoughts at podcast@engadget.com. Leave us a review, please, on iTunes, because that'll help people discover us, and subscribe on anything that gets podcasts.
So Sherlyn, with this new laptop, I think you might need to like go into your settings or something and figure out like how to keep it from riding the volume, because it automatically like raises or dampens the volume depending on how loud you're getting. I've noticed that like last week, and I wanted to say something about it, but of course I forgot.
It might be an Audacity thing. Yeah, I'll figure that out. Because the Audacity waveforms are looking bigger than they normally do anyway. You know what I mean?
Last time we dealt with this, because like you've used a bunch of different laptops to record.
Nope,
over the time.
I've always used the same one.
Really?
This is the first time I'm changing. Yep.
Interesting. Okay, I think you disabled some kind of like Windows, like something on the Windows level, not on the Audacity level of something like writing your levels, writing your volume when you're recording, because I remember this happening before, but
we can talk offline about this. Let's talk offline about this. We'll figure it out. I see Brett is here. Hey, Brett. Matt, you know Brett.
Oh, I do.
Pubmet.
But just the funny thing is that you got really loud, and then I think like your computer started like limiting your volume, so you sounded really quiet, but it also sounded like you were speaking. For, like,
Julio pointed out that it might be because I was like high pitched or something. I get that. Let's see. We've got CJ by Step saying nice podcast as always. Thank you so much. We love having y'all as part of the community. Jonathan Anderson is here. Oh my goodness. Hey y'all, long time since you've been watching live.
Have not seen Jonathan Anderson in a while.
So yeah, I think we don't have too much time to keep engaging. We're gonna just say goodbye and do a quick shout out, a roll call of people. Christoph Howard, Buddy 305 Love, D-Man as usual, CJ by Steps, like we said just now.
Yeah, you especially don't want to go reading some of the comments, because we were talking about what games you would hate with your rat phobia.
Well, I will look back and make sure I don't play them. John
don't
Donuts,
play Elden Ring. That's the takeaway.
John Donuts, Freddie, dude named Charlie, Declan Flynn. I don't know if I already said Sir Holmes. We had again, CJ by Steps, I guess. And there was a question by CA, and I don't know if they're still here, but thank you all for joining and for leaving your questions and comments. And of course, thanks to Matt for being my guest co-host this week. Hey, Matt. You know, Matt, I almost wanted to, like, my recommendation this week is at 45.
There you go.
Anytime I want to get you, whenever you're back on the show, I'm gonna be like, that's my pick. So anyway. I think we're good. Ben, do you want to do your usual credits?
Yes. So thank you everybody for watching. This video comes to you via our video team, which is Julio Barrientos and Luke Brooks. If you stuck around this long, please rate us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, same thing, Google Podcasts, any other podcast platform where you can rate us. It helps other people find the show. You know, we live in a world of algorithms. You watch the Engadget Podcast for a reason. Come on. And we'll see you next week. Actually, no, not next week.
Not
we'll
next
see you
week. Yeah,
the week after next. So we will see you, what is that? The 9th? September 9th?
8th.
September 8th. Yes, the day after the Apple event. We'll be breaking all that down. Have a good couple weeks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.